this is Yva with Yva Lovée Arts, and today I will be playing with the very Vivid Ullra Metallics, which is a brand new fluid acrylic that has been released by ColourArte, and I'm going to be pouring some of this paint onto these small canvases. I started out with 3, but I was just having so much fun that I ended up with 6. So this is Lemongrass, Blue Bayou, and True Silver. And I'm starting out, this is the very first time I've played with them. I wasn't sure exactly how thick they would be, so I'm just pouring them directly onto this canvas and spreading it around, letting gravity work its magic. And it's a little thicker than I thought it would be, but that's okay. I'm going to bring in some pouring medium here in a little bit to help it get moving a little more. I can tell you right now, after all 6 of these canvases, this one turns out to be my favorite. So I was running out of pouring medium at this point, so I will be using it very sparingly, but my sweet boyfriend is at the store at this point picking up some more for me, so he's very sweet. I tried using the solution here and it just is so thin, it just rolled right off. Although it did create an interesting effect in that I think it moved some of the mica, kind of created some little rivers for the color to flow through. So that was a happy surprise, but not exactly what I was going for. So basically what you're trying to get with pours is just for the paint to just flow freely, and I want it to drip over the sides so that it's going to create a film, an acrylic film over the entire front. And this is the pouring medium by Liquitex that I told you about, and I will be using some more of that later as soon as I get some more. But on this one, I poured it in some areas, and that did help get the paint moving a little better. So just trying to get it to cover the surface completely. Some people will cover the entire sides of the painting, but I'm just going for the drippy look on the sides. I just thought that would look cool. So that's the first one. Oh no, I'm not done. I'm going to add some more pouring medium and some more paint. It's just so much fun. It's kind of hard to know when to stop, and once the pouring medium gets involved, then it continues to move, it continues to change, so you can't really fall in love with it at any one point. Oh, here I want to show you, these are the drips, and once they dry, you can save these to use as skins in your mixed media work or paintings. That you can just glue them on with some matte medium. And just giving you some little examples here. I'm pulling them up off of the table and storing them on this sheet of wax paper, and I'll show you what I did with these at the end. It's really cool. I'll give you a quick look at the ones I've picked up so far. They're really pretty because they keep the colors of the different paints, and as they drip down, it's just so pretty. And with the Ultra Vivid Metallics, or Vivid Ullra Metallics, they're just so pretty anyway. So here I am mixing some of the clear glazing medium that ColourArte carries along with the solution with the Vivid Ullra Metallics. And since I'm out of pouring medium at this moment, I'm just doing my best to water down the consistency of these paints. I think I even add a little bit of water to them. And I'm just doing that for each of the colors, and then I'll pour these onto the canvas. And we'll see how that works. I added a little too much of the solution, so it was really watery, and I wasn't sure if it would work, but I added a little of the Bind and Resist powder that ColourArte carries to see if I could thicken up the paint, which I think in theory it could have. I'm not sure if I added enough, but I eventually ended up with the consistency that I wanted. So here I am just pouring it over and moving it around, as I will do in all of these little canvases, but it's just so fun to look at, and I hope you'll enjoy watching my process and watching me play with these as much as I enjoyed playing with them. Something you can do to save paint is use a little craft stick to pick it up, just wipe along the bottom edge as it drips down to the desktop, and reuse it. Just drop it right back onto the painting. I was really impressed with the way these products worked. It's not exactly like pouring medium, but it's pretty close, and I think this one ended up being my second favorite, and it's the only one that I used no pouring medium on whatsoever. So the only thing I can say is that, and it might have had to do with the ratios that I used, but it did have some cracking once it dried. I didn't get that real glossy finish that the pouring medium offers. So I have a brand new bottle of pouring medium now, and for the third canvas I'm going to pre-mix the Vivid Ullra Metallics with the pouring medium, and we'll see how this works. Already I can tell that this is a lot more runny than the previous pours, so this stuff is going to move a lot. And I'm sure this would work better on a larger scale canvas. I'm probably using way too much paint because this is a self-leveling medium. So there's only so much paint you can add, and it's just going to drip off the sides and, you know, balance out. So I'm just playing with this, experimenting. I'm having a blast, and I'm loving the way the shimmer of the Vivid Ullra Metallics is working along with the pouring medium. It's just so beautiful, so amazing, and yeah, this video just really doesn't give it justice. Of course, I know you're tired of hearing that probably. If you've been watching ColourArte videos, then you really just can't see all the beautiful mica, especially this one. The true silver is actually made with real metal, so it's just gorgeous. And doesn't that look cool? I wish it would stay just like this because I love the way that looks, but the paint continues to move, and you can actually watch it while I'm working on this extra mini canvas that I had, just picking up some of that excess paint that fell onto the desk, and it just continues to move, and it's still pretty in the end, but I don't know, I just feel like the pouring medium, maybe I just didn't mix it right, but all the paint just continues to fall the color off of the canvas, and you lose that kind of distinct shapes that I really liked. All the colors seem to kind of blend and move, and just, it's still pretty. I will say it's beautiful, but I don't know, I just wish I could get it to stop earlier in the process, which I probably could if I was using, you know, less paint and I knew what I was doing more. So I used way too much paint, and I'm wiping it up with my palette knife and putting it into an empty container. When it all mixes together, it creates this really pretty emerald color, green. And so I'll be able to use that later. And I found these little containers at the dollar store, and they're just perfect. They come with a little lid. So those are the two. At this point you can already see how it's changed so much, and I'm like, well, maybe I can add some more circles that'll stay since it's a little drier now, which is really not a good idea with pouring medium. You need to do it all at once so that it stays level, but I thought it was still wet enough to where maybe this would work. And yeah, I don't know that it did, but still, I think it just needed a little more of that true silver, so I added that back in there. So here are the three that I've worked on so far. This was the first one, which is my favorite, and really used the least amount of pouring medium, and even had a little bit of the solution poured on there, which I think created a really interesting effect. So very pretty. And the second one was the one that had absolutely no pouring medium, and it is very pretty. It did have a little bit of cracking, which I'm not sure if you can see. And I was thinking, well, maybe if I put some clear glazing medium over the top, then it could fill in some of those cracks and cover it up, but I haven't done that at this point. I may just use the pouring medium as a resin over it. So that was the second one, and then here's the third one that used the pouring medium. See how it's pretty, but it just, there's no definition to the colors. It's very subtle, beautiful for a background. I'm not sure if, well, you know, everybody's taste is different. It's very different from, you could tell, very different from the one that is my favorite. So now I'm thinking, well, maybe I just need to add some more paint to what I have left and see if I can thicken up the consistency of the pouring medium. So there's still pouring medium in this one, but I'm adding more paint to it, thinking that maybe the ratio was just wrong. So I'll give it another go and see how this works. Now, to be honest, it's still pretty runny, and I probably would have needed to add a whole lot more paint to get it thicker, although maybe I should have added some more of the bind and resist now that I think about it, now that I'm looking back. But I'm using less of it, or trying to at this point. Of course, it's so addictive and so much fun that you just keep adding more and more, and then I think I kind of end up with the same problem I had with the one before this. But it's okay, it's all learning experience, it's all experimentation, it's all fun. And it's all beautiful, really, in the end, too. Isn't that beautiful? I should have just left it alone. But I was really wanting the paint to go over the edges, so I'm going, and then I'm like, oh, I dropped a little here, let me just make some more drops, and it just goes out of control again. Like right there. It's hard when you're pouring this because you don't have a lot of control. I couldn't find my little eyedropper. That if you had a dropper, then you could probably exercise more control, but then it's not pouring, right? Then it's dripping. So it is what it is. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty sure that I'm going overboard here. Here's proof that I used way too much paint. After I have moved it over to the side, this is what's left on my desk. And this is going to make a really cool skin once it's all dry. But I don't want to move it, so now I have to wait for it to dry before I can continue working or work around it, which I think is what I end up doing. Yeah, that's what I do. So, yeah. Here are the other little drippy drops that I'm collecting, which I'll use in an art journal page at the end. So, very exciting stuff. So next I decide to start with the straight paint. That's what I did in the very first one, and I liked it. So maybe this is my thinking anyway, if I start with the paint and then I add some of the pouring medium and paint mixture, the way I used a little bit of the pouring medium in the first one, then I'll end up with a similar effect that I got in the first one. So we'll see how this goes. It, and about right here I realized I don't know if this is going to work so well. The paint that I applied directly is really thick compared with the pouring medium, so I'm having to add more and more pouring medium, and I'm just trying to get like a frame around it with this darker blue, but I think I want to try to just leave it. At least that's what I thought, and that's what I did. So now we move to canvas 6, and for this one I wanted to try and use these primary elements that came in my design team box. I've never played with these either. This is the France Papillon Lightning Bug 4-piece set, and it has Go Navy, Autumn Skies, Blue Pearl, and Dragonfly. Not bad, that's off the top of my head. Don't even have it right here in front of me. So I'm just adding some of the clear glazing medium and some of the solution to modify the consistency and get it to where it's runny enough, not too runny. And honestly, the lightning bug was a little too yellow, and I wanted all of these to kind of go together to look like, you know, they belong together. So I don't end up using that one. In the end, I go back to the pouring medium mixture that I had left over with the lemongrass. And I did add a little bit of the lightning bug into the Vivid Ullra Metallic mixture with the pouring medium, just to kind of change the color just a little bit, and it did work. But here I am pouring my mixtures. So this is kind of a mixture between the pouring medium and Vivid Ullra Metallics and the ColourArte products mixed with the primary elements, and it's really cool looking. Oh, look, I add a little bit of the pouring medium directly to it like I did for the first one. I just really fell in love with that first one. I was like, I want to really try to get that look again, but in a different way, and see if it would work. And yeah, I'm not so sure that it did. I have to go through that same process probably as starting with the big puddles of Vivid Ullra Metallic and moving it around the canvas, and then just adding a small amount of the pouring medium and the solution on top if you are interested in recreating that cool effect that happened in the first one. So these are really pretty colors, and it's really fun to be able to make your own paints with these primary elements. You can create your own water colors, you can create your own glazes, you can even create your own pastes with it. So I am done at this point. I've got a ton of pictures that I took along the way, so I'm just showing you that slideshow here. I hope you enjoyed this process and that you'll give it a try too. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and leave me some love down below in the comments. Share with your friends and feel free to ask any questions. I'd be happy to help. I'm new at this pouring medium thing, but you know, I'll do what I can to help. If you'll recall, you can see all the drippings there on the desk. I told you I was going to do something with those. So here is the journal page that I glued all of those extra bits onto. So I can make use of every last drop of that precious paint. So don't forget to check out all the other artists on the ColourArte Design Team blog and ColourArte channel on YouTube, and don't forget to check my channel out as well and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks!